Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Or if this is your first time stopping in, welcome to the channel. My name is Kyle. Here on the channel, we do all sorts of things with outdoor projects, reviews, with applicable things that go outdoors, or in this instance, ways to stay warm in my shop here in the winter. Believe it or not, I actually pay attention to the comments you guys leave on videos. And one of the ones I keep seeing is, there is no way it's that cheap to heat your garage all winter long. Or maybe Jim or Alan or Barb have had one bad experience with electric. So they say, oh, there's no way, it costs $85 an hour to run it, and bah, bah, bah. Well, folks, it's not the case. What I want to share with you is live data from my ecobee thermostat, covering a lot of this information in detail, showing you actual runtime. I will then do some math magicianals to use my electric rate in my area to show you my monthly usage and annual usage of my heater. Again, this is in Iowa. I live in the Midwest, you know, not the potato state, the corn state that makes better corn than the states around it. Sorry, Nebraska and Illinois. Don't hate me for that. Now, originally, King Electric did provide this heater, but I have zero skin in the game when it comes to giving reviews on it. Why would I lie about my electrical bill just to sell more heaters? Makes no sense. What I'm trying to do here on the channel is provide you guys some informative things to consider when looking at things like electric heat. And when I tell you that I can heat my entire garage all winter long for a few $100, why wouldn't you believe a guy? Why? Now, again, for those of you who don't watch the videos and leave comments, give a little bit of backstory here. This garage is 576 square feet with a 9-foot ceiling, and at all times, it is set at 45 degrees Fahrenheit. In a prior video, linked above here, I made a comment that I basically heated my entire shop for 200 hours of runtime. And that really set people off. Here in Iowa, in the wintertime, our electrical rates are around 14.5 cents per kilowatt hour. This specific unit is a 7,500 watt heater that has basically a 2-band setting, which automatically adjusts itself. I'm not going to talk a whole lot about the King Electric Eco 2S Plus model. I'll put some videos above here as well if you guys want to check those out. But this automatically switches between high and low modes to optimize the power bands where possible, to reduce power consumption and heat your space affordably. I purposely leave the shop heated at 45 degrees to keep things like my batteries, my tractor, my liquids out here in a conditioned space to where they will exist and be happier and last longer, or not freeze in the case of liquids. And occasionally, like now, when I come out here, I do crank the heat up a little bit so it's not so chilly. You know, 55, 57-ish degrees is comfortable for me, and I don't have to even really wear a sweatshirt if I don't want to. Personal preference, but that's what I find comfortable. This specific shop is insulated. The walls are R15 values. The attic is L. The attic is R30, and I have an R8 garage door on the front. R7, R8, somewhere in that area. It's on a thickened edge concrete slab with no concrete insulation below it, no foam board. So let's hop into the computer here. I'll show you guys some math of how we got to where we're at today. And generally speaking, I find electric to be very affordable. So we are going to go month by month, record the hours that it ran, and then we're going to tie this into a calculation into Excel and show you guys my entire heating bill for last year. That way you know exactly what I spent to maintain my shop at 45 degrees, and no one can question it because the data is the data. All right, can't make it up. And we're going to do this all in Excel. So let me open an Excel document here. September, with 1 hour for October, November. They do have some data download we can use, but this is just going to be easier to show you guys. That's why we're doing it this way. November, I ran 2 hours. December, it ran 10 hours. January, 65 hours. As you guys can tell, some months were colder than others. I can't do nothing about Mother Nature. Right now it's actually 7 degrees outside, so it's plenty cold right now in January. February, we had 14 hours of runtime. And for March, we had 27 hours. Obviously fluctuating in temperatures. And how much I'm out there in March. Actually, I had some breaks, so I was spending some time out there. April, we had 4 hours, and then May, we had none. So let's hop into Excel and look at this in more detail. We'll zoom in and pull her up over there so you guys can see this. So this is the entirety of hours ran the entire last winter. 123 hours of runtime, to be exact. Not bad. Now, obviously, depends on the winter months and how cold it is. But as we get into February, we start to get up in the mid-30s. That difference between 32, 35 to 45 degrees internal to external temp isn't as big of a thing to overcome. Unlike January, when we get temperatures as low, we have them negative 15 temperatures, so really cold. So 123 hours. Now, what is that gonna cost me? So our heater that we run, I could show you exactly if we wanted to get into this, because the ecobee does show you high and low modes. I told you there's 2 different bands that run. We're going to assume worst case situation here, that we're running the high setting, which is 7,500 watts. Right, 7,500 watts. So we need to convert this watts to kilowatts. So we're going to divide this by 1,000, which I can do the easy math in my head. But for the people out there that don't believe me, so we're using 7.5 kilowatts of electricity per hour of runtime. And I know for a fact on my electrical bill, I pay around 14.5 cents per kilowatt hour. So now what we're going to do is figure out how many kilowatts of electricity we use. We're going to take 7.5 times 123 hours to get our kilowatt hours used. We use 922.5 kilowatt hours of electricity. What's neat is we know our rate. This is including the transmission. In my area, we do have some staging, but we're going to assume worst case high. This is inclusive of the transmission rates and other fees for our kilowatt hour of electricity. So if we take this times this, this will give us our total to heat the garage for all 8 months last year. That is the total dollars spent last year to heat my shop. $133.76 is what it costs to run it for 8 months. Or if you want to make it even easier, take that divided by 7, or about $20 of electricity per month if you assume your heating period is from October to April, and this is maintaining the shop at 45 degrees. Not bad. Now, if you really want to look at it, the heart of heating season really is kind of right here. Generally, we're getting out in November in decent temperatures. So more realistically, our 4-month heating period, we're looking around $40, $35 to $40 per month to heat the building. Fast forwarding to this year, you're going to see similar results. We've had 5 hours of runtime in November. December, we had a little more runtime at 35 hours. So about 3 times as much as last year. We had a cold December versus a warm December. We can easily change that math and get our values here to find reality of this year. And according to the app on my phone, which is some of this more instantaneous month-to-month things are a little more detailed on, I've used 38 hours and 28 minutes in 15 days of heating. So just about halfway through the month. And so we might be a little higher than we were last year as well. So we'll go ahead and bump that up to 72 hours. Still, we're not looking at a whole lot of difference here for what it costs to heat the shop all winter long with electric heat. You're not going to convince me to install LP for that, or to buy a wood stove and cut wood for $168. Just not gonna happen. So long story short, because that's my favorite thing to say, that is a roundabout what it cost me to heat this shop all heating season long. Keep in mind there's going to be several different factors that I mentioned about how it could affect you and your situation. But what I will say in my situation, electric's an affordable option. I don't have to come out here and stoke any stove. I don't have any gas to worry about. And as long as we have power, I've got heat. I think one of the more interesting things is that people think that electric is always more expensive than any other option out there. So this myth versus reality check here kind of just paints a picture. A lot of people automatically think electric is going to be more expensive than things like LP and natural, which we're not going to get that comparison today, but you've seen the price of what it costs to run things. There are many different factors that affect your electrical bill in your area, whether it be the rates, the quality of insulation you use, or the temperature you set the building at. I mean, because if you're out here more often, keeping it warmer, it's obviously going to cost a little more money. And when I'm not out here, I do my best to make this garage as airtight and eco-friendly as possible, verifying things like the door seals are in good shape, the windows are closed, well sealed up, that you're insulated. And I use a ecobee thermostat with this electric unit so I can control the temperature remotely from my phone. And it's got a brain, so it knows how to think a little bit. So I hope you guys found that informative and helpful. Really trying to paint a picture here for you all that no, electric doesn't have to be outrageously expensive. No, it's not going to be free. There is nothing that's free. Even if you use wood, you have had to invest in some type of equipment to harvest that wood, unless you're lucky enough that someone just cuts it down for you, cuts it into pieces, and brings it to your doorstep. There really is no exactly free option. I mean, you could argue that my electric heat's free. I've got solar panels. But we're not going to have that but we're not going to have that conversation or argument in this situation. Thanks for stopping in. If you guys have any comments, drop them down below here. I will look at them and respond to each and every one of those. Give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. Hit that subscribe button, follow along, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. We'll see ya.